When you're working for somebody else, you're learning. It's a learning phase, which I did appreciate a lot. I learned a lot working in different hospitals, different clinics, different healthcare environments. I moved up into management. I was over the respiratory therapist in ICU, in ER. I had done flight care. We would fly children from one NICU to another nearby hospitals and do all of that. I did a lot of hard work, like in the cardiac lab, and there's just so much to learn that you never really exhaust all there is about healthcare. But I did get to a point where I thought, you know what, I want to go out and do something on my own, work for myself, and have more time freedom, time to raise my kids, and a financial freedom also, just to do more and to fulfill my God-given purpose, which I believe was to be an entrepreneur.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Biblical Money. I'm your host, Rabbi Rami Goldberg. I am here with the lovely Pauline Ndirangu, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, who is in nursing and healthcare. Thank you so much, Pauline, for joining us today.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Rami. I'm so excited to be here, and it's a pleasure. I love the work that you're doing with Biblical Money and Israel 365. It's an honor to be here.
Amazing. So let's just start out Ndirangu. Where does, with a silent N at the beginning, where does that name come from? Give us a bit of your origin story.
My origin story. So I'm originally from Kenya. I moved here when I was 16 to the United States, and I've been here since. And so this August actually is my 25th year. And my name is Kenyan, of course. Ndirangu is my last name. And I'm assuming I'm your first Kenyan on this podcast, so it's an honor.
Quite possibly. I'm trying to think if we've had anyone from Kenya. I don't think so.
Yay.
So was there a reason why you left Kenya? Was it just an opportunity?
Yes, definitely the opportunity. So I finished high school at 15. I skipped a couple of grades. Most students will complete high school either at 17 or 18. So I tested out of, I think, fourth grade and another grade I can't remember, just because I was, performing very well. The teachers would always recommend me or see that I was not being challenged enough. So the downside of that is I graduated too early. So my dad made me take a gap year. I stayed home for an additional year. And then at 16 and a half, I think he finally just gave in and let me come over here for college because I was bothering him so much.
And then you stayed. Was there's some, there's a lot of areas, in Africa that do have religious persecution, particularly against Christians, which is, somehow it doesn't make the news because it's not important. The only thing that's important is what's happening in Israel, and there's a lot happening. Was there any religious persecution where you were, or that was not something?
Not at all. No.
Okay.
Yeah.
Meaning Kenya is Kenya mostly a Christian country?
It's mostly Christian, and I believe the second religion that's up close to that would be the Muslim religion, and then we have Hindus. The diversity of religion in Kenya is very high. No persecution, just freedom of religion. For the most part, there's those little isolated incidences here and there. But we have God in the school systems, we have Muslim schools, we have Christian schools, and everyone just kind of respects that and, lives together in harmony.
Right. Mm-hmm. Wow. Interesting. So you had God in the school system, meaning that was you had prayers as part of your school day.
In the Christian schools that I attended, yes. But for high school, I actually went to an Indian school for high school. It was predominantly Asian. It was owned by an Asian community. Was right next to their Hindu temple. And so the mingling of people in Kenya from different religions is something that we really appreciate because everybody just respects everyone.
Okay. And it wasn't, they didn't make you sacrifice your firstborn child?
No, not at all. When it comes to school, they stick mostly to school, the school curriculum. And, unless you are predominantly going to like a Catholic school that's run by nuns, then you will be going to the Catholic masses and things like that. If you're going to like a Protestant school, they'll hold a lot of church services on the weekends. Our Asian school was mostly a Monday to Friday day school, and they focused mostly on the curriculum. If not, I don't think my parents would have let me go there.
Okay. Meaning, so there was not so much of a focus on religion,
Yeah, not so much focus on
in your
religion.
in your day to day,
Yeah.
even though it was part of the school. I mean, there was
Mm-hmm.
some prayers that they said and the like.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so you come to America. You went to nursing for college right away. That was like what you jumped into.
I jumped into IT. Initially, I thought I might be able to do some computer software type. I was interested in that field, and I quickly realized that's not what I wanted to do. And then I think I changed my major along some point and wanted to do economics, financial, get some financial literacy, and get a bachelor's degree in economics. I changed my mind about that. And then I finally settled on something in healthcare, something that felt more like what I wanted to do. And I graduated with my bachelor's in respiratory therapy, and I did that for about 12 to 15 years.
Oh wow. Okay. And so tell us about your business. So then at some point you decided I'm not working for someone else. I'm doing my own thing. What happened there?
When you're working for somebody else, you're learning. It's a learning phase, which I did appreciate a lot. I learned a lot working in different hospitals, different clinics, different healthcare environments. I moved up into management. I was over the respiratory therapist in ICU, in ER. I had done flight care. We would fly children from one NICU to another nearby hospitals and do all of that. Um, I did a lot of hard work, like in the cardiac lab, and there's just so much to learn that you never really exhaust all there is about healthcare. But I did get to a point where I thought, you know what, I want to go out and do something on my own, work for myself, and have more time freedom, time to raise my kids, and financial freedom also, just to do more and be able to fulfill my God given purpose, which I believe was to be an entrepreneur, and I learned that from my dad.
Oh yeah. What was your father?
Gosh, my
What did he
father
do?
was into a lot of different things. He was into real estate. He owned hotels. He was into the transportation business. He had a lot of buses that he um, had on the road for public transport and private transport. So, growing up around him, I saw his and he was very industrious. I saw him working really hard. I saw him getting up very early. I saw how much he enjoyed what he does and how he was able to provide for us above and beyond what, the average person was able to do. So that was very inspiring. And I gleaned a lot from what he did from a day to day basis. And I knew early on, even in my healthcare career, that I wasn't going to be able to stay employed very long.
Right. And you just decided that this
Yeah.
is to break out. So what are you doing within healthcare today? What's the what is the business?
So I run a healthcare training school, and we are currently training for different entry level positions in healthcare. We license and we certify our clients to go into entry level positions. They come out ready for the workforce, and that was the first business that I did that was in healthcare, and it's been a blessing because we're training very well. Um, I want to say we're training very well trained, but also amazing human beings that are out there touching lives, and it's just something that we're really proud of when hospitals call us and they say, "Hey, we need this many employees, or can you come and train our staff, or can you send us this many people?" And they know us in the community, they trust the work that we do, and yeah, it's something that we're really proud of.
Yeah. And you have how many students have you graduated thus far?
Oh my gosh. I went hundreds, thousands of students since we started.
Meaning they come in just for a single course, or is it something that's a little bit more? Uh, Meaning, or is it like they're going to get a degree by the end of the time that they're with you?
Because it's entry level, they come in for a single course, they'll graduate, they'll get a certificate, they'll go out and get a job. Some of them will come back if they want to advance in that training that they got, or they'll get one or two different certificates so they can be more versatile in the marketplace. They then go on to apply to degree level programs. So, what we do are certificate level programs. For example, if you are training to be a certified nurse aide and you work that for a couple of years, you have enough experience under your belt, you can then move on to apply to like an LVN program or a nursing program, which we refer them to those degree programs, and they're able to do extremely well because they've had that experience with us already.
Got it. Okay, so most of your people, this is they're coming out of high school and they're not really sure exactly what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
So they come to you, they take a couple of week course, and then
Mm-hmm.
they can at least get their career started with what they're doing. How long is a typical
Exactly.
course?
Anywhere from 2 weeks to 12 weeks, depending on what schedule that they choose. But they can literally start a new career in 2 weeks if that's what they want to do. Hmm.
Wow. Okay. Maybe I should take some vacation and come get a new totally new direction. And so you've had hundreds of people. So let's go into some of the business side of things. I
Yeah.
mean, it's not just like, okay, writing curriculum, but how do you market? How do you get your name out there? I mean, at this point you have an established. I'm sure people
Right.
direct people to you, but
Yeah.
what's the entrepreneurial side of what you did?
The way we market is word of mouth because over time, over the last 6 7 years, we've graduated so many students in the metroplex. The hospitals know us, the clinics they know us, the doctors, the healthcare providers in the areas they know us. We have our ambassadors that go into these places and talk to these establishments about our school, about our programs, but mainly our marketing comes from word of mouth. Obviously, we spend money on ads and things like that, but we have found that the organic growth for us has been the biggest.
Wow. I
Yeah,
mean, it speaks volumes about to be able to do that and to really establish yourself in that way is really just something that is something that's amazing.
definitely.
To be able to do it. And system wise, I mean, how did you, I guess you had some IT background, but how did you know how to do everything? Get the company set up. Was there you have partners or everything is falls on your shoulders?
So initially it was just me, I'm a pen and paper kind of gal. I just did everything the manual way. And as the business has grown, we've had to incorporate, all the IT, the softwares, the people that know what they're doing in terms of like our online classes. We use a lot of media for that, which I'm not versed in at all. But in the beginning, it was basically just, manual. Everything was pen and paper, sit down in the classroom. And now we've grown to a very large online audience. And a lot of our students are just mainly online. So as far as IT, we've had to incorporate a lot of different softwares and platforms that we use to make it easy for the students.
Yeah, and what about with these new changes in AI? I mean,
Yeah.
how does that affect ChatGPT, writing papers? I mean, I guess you're not a full degree program, so it's
Hmm.
probably a little bit more hands-on. But how do you help them kind of stay focused and not?
Well, students are students. They'll always try to use AI and to cut some shortcuts, and we have ways that we can catch that. Our teachers are trained on recognizing when students are using AI to submit their homework or to do their online submissions. There's AI that detects AI that detects AI, and so we've run into that, but that's just the world that we live in right now. We look at AI as a tool, and we're looking forward to actually incorporating a lot of AI in our videos that we do, in our simulations that we have online. So, it is a good tool that the, Kingdom businesses can use to accelerate and make things simple. But on the other side, it has its flip side where, you know, depends on how you use it. It could be good or it could be bad.
Right. No, it's definitely a a tool, and I think it's like anything, it's the beginning of the journey. Like um, when the internet was coming out, I remember it was like, oh, you can't put your credit card into it. Now it's like, no, why would you keep your credit card in your wallet? That's not nearly as safe as it being on your phone and behind some sort of encryption. And so, but it's but it is, it is pretty crazy.
Right.
Are you seeing like any major trend changes within healthcare that's causing you to think differently about how you educate your students?
Um, we're seeing that the healthcare field is growing faster than what it was previously. And the reason for that is, AI is taking over a lot of these other jobs in other industries. And so what's happening is our enrollments are going up. Everybody that's losing their jobs in retail or all these other industries, all these white collar office jobs that are disappearing a little bit at a time, are attracting people to healthcare because healthcare is stable. We're always going to need, nurses, doctors. We're always going to need that human aspect of healthcare. And AI is not going to, even though healthcare is, incorporating a lot of AI, it's never going to just take over the whole industry where we don't need people anymore. And so, as far as healthcare, the growth is crazy. What we're seeing is just a really increased number of people that are going into it in one aspect or the other, and it's encouraging that we're in this field right now.
I mean, you feel like you're in something. You got a lot of runway
Yeah,
ahead of you, and it's not. Um, do you have competitors? People who
yeah,
pop up, and and
definitely.
how do you find that that you're able to differentiate yourselves?
For us, when we were considering going into this, we obviously did our markets research. We did our studies to find out what other schools are in the area. There was hundreds of schools that were just here in our own city in Texas, and so the way we differentiated ourselves was just having that servant heart of serving people, keeping it very friendly, family environment. We didn't want to be just another white walls and blackboard. We wanted students to be able to interact freely with their teachers, feel like they're a part of this business that we're building. And we made them feel special. We went above and beyond. We gave them more than what they paid for. We overserved and over delivered, and that's how we've been able to grow in this market. We've actually beat out a lot of schools that have been in the area for 30 years or were here before we were here. And it's just that I believe it's the servant heart that we had from the beginning.
Right? Is there any your kind of religious overtones that you have within the school? Is it predominantly Christian, or is the school kind of like
Yeah.
just
We don't have a religious tone in the school, around the school, or anywhere, even in our policies or in our procedures. And if they're there, they're not like, in your face, written out, like, here are the 10 Commandments or anything like that. However, I do believe that any business takes on the character of the people that work there, and especially the leaders and the owners. And within the leadership, we do incorporate a lot of biblical principles. I believe your business looks like the owner. I've seen businesses that go bankrupt or they get run down in a few years because it's the condition of the person's heart, it's the condition of the person's soul and their spirit that's running that business. So if they're bankrupt on the inside, their businesses are going to go bankrupt. They're not going to be able to manage what God has given them to steward. So we don't have a Christian undertone, but we have a Christian leadership.
right? And so that kind of permeates, even if it's unspoken in terms of how you approach things. Um,
Exactly.
Servant leadership, is that something that you guys look to?
Definitely. I feel like, leaders should definitely lead by example. When we first started the school, I was, obviously a one man show. I was the one, teaching, answering the phones, doing the billing, invoicing, and all of that. And as the business grew, and I trained other leaders, I didn't train them just only to delegate and to give instructions and to give orders. They also came in knowing all the different departments, knowing all the different roles, being able to do all those things so that they're able also to lead by example. And I think that's also what has really sustained our leadership team. I've been with them for years, and they have my heart, which is, lead by example. Lead by example. Don't sit there and give orders. And the staff that works under them, they see that and they continue that and they pass that along, because they know that we're not just telling them to do something that we don't know how to do or that we are not able to do ourselves.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's for sure. So, what are some of the kind of the business principles that you use that are biblically based, or even
Yeah.
not? Kind of where do you go for inspiration for these types of things?
Yeah. I would say our biggest one is definitely love, the servant leadership, the compassion, integrity, and also just generosity. And we go above and beyond. We believe that we're blessed to be a blessing. So, therefore, when the students come into our school, you know, it's not just a transaction for us. We want to know the student. We want to know what's going on with them. We want to help them where they're having difficulties. We make it a human experience. We humanize everything that we do at the school, and so that's what makes them feel special. And if you read some of our reviews, it's not always about, oh, it was easy, it was cheap. The most of the reviews that we get was like, oh my gosh, this teacher was amazing, or this school is amazing. They care about you. They want to make sure you succeed. They are helping you with job placement. Like, they honestly feel that they got more than what they paid for, which is what we're called to do in the kingdom. Is we're blessed to be a blessing.
Right. No, for that's for sure, and that's it's really caring about the people, and it says by Abraham that it was the nefesh, which is the person that he created or that he made in Haran, right? Meaning that he was actually involved in creating these people, like at every level, and I always like to point out that they literally followed him into battle. I mean, he to the point where you have a staff, that you have people that are following you into battle. That is really like a huge thing. I mean, I can't get my people to to clean around their desk, let alone follow me into battle. But if you're looking back, what are some of kind of the principles that you would have given your younger self that now, like maybe some of the mistakes you've made,
Hmm.
that you're like, okay, that was a mistake or wasn't a mistake, like
Hmm.
something that you learned that you're like, okay, I wish I could have done this differently.
In business or personally?
Okay, either one. You can take the question whichever direction you want.
I think in business, I made a lot of mistakes in the beginning where I kept people longer than I needed to, and that's something that I had to unlearn. I was faithful and loyal to my staff to a fault, and it might just be my personality where I don't give up on people easily. So I try to mentor and change and teach them, because I'm a teacher at heart. It's very hard for me to give up on a person. I'm always that teacher that, you can do it, and just do this, and then this will be the result. But as an employer, um, that can be difficult when you don't let people go when you need to let them go. It slows you down. You keep people longer than you need to. You may be harboring that rotten apple that spoils the other ones. And I learned that lesson the hard way. So now I'm very, I don't want to say quick, but I'm more decisive, and I make my decision based on results, not my feelings.
Right. So everyone's got their KPI, and you kind of, unless there's an extenuating circumstance, you either
Hmm.
hit it or you didn't.
Right, right.
So, yeah. So that's definitely. I think that's always one of the very challenging situations. That in the end of the day, there's only two ways that this relationship could end. Right? It's either they quit or they're fired. Meaning
Right.
that's that is really, people don't always realize that. And so but
Yeah.
and it can't work out 100% of the time for 100% of the people
No. And when
within
you love
within
people, sometimes you love them because you want them to change and you can see their full potential, but sometimes they can't see their full potential. And so I can't be invested more in your potential than you are. And so, that's where I come in and I'm like, hey, we have to cut ties. This has been great, but, it's not working out for us. Difficult conversations, I've had to learn how to have very difficult conversations, but, you know, it is what it is. It comes with the job.
Right. Yeah. It's the part of entrepreneurship that most people don't want to hear about, or they think that, oh, it's so easy, that there's no sleepless nights and success and all that. So you've now been successful, and God has blessed you. What are some of the things that you like to give to? I never like to say give back,
Hmm.
because I think running a business, you
Hmm.
are also giving, and it's not like, I don't like to separate those two. But what are some of the things you like to do as far as nonprofits and the like? Where do you like to get involved?
We love, love, love to support, first of all, students that want to get an education that cannot afford it. So we have a program at the school. It's a scholarship. It's called the Pauline Scholarship. It's named after me. And the scholarship, obviously, you have to apply, and we vet you to make sure that you qualify. It's for students that have the potential, they have the drive, and they just don't have the money for the tuition and to fund their next move or their next step. So that's one of the things that we're doing at the school. um, I have a heart for street children. Coming from Africa, we have a lot of street kids, even in Kenya, especially the street moms. I especially have a soft spot for street mothers, young mothers, teenage mothers that are on the street. And that's something that I've been praying to God to show me how to get into and how to, help and be a part of and get my hands dirty and actually do something about it instead of just saying that I have a heart for it. And so, I recently partnered with an organization that is a nonprofit. They are rescuing children from sex trafficking and things like that in Kenya. And so our school is, participating in that. And we have a heart for evangelistic ministries, street ministries that go out and evangelize on the streets. We have a heart for the younger generation, the Gen Zs. So we partnered with nonprofits in Kenya that go out to high schools. And what they do is they do tent meetings and street meetings and high school meetings where they're talking to these kids and they visit them every weekend. So those are some of the causes that we've partnered with. Those are some of the purposes that we partner with because we believe that businesses are not just all about profits. You have to tie your profits to a purpose, and that kind of keeps you grounded. And so that's been very humbling, and it's such a great opportunity for us to be a part of.
Wow. I mean, it really is so important to, with regard to, helping, and ultimately comes down to education. And that seems like that is really your whole essence, is just a matter of, okay, how can we educate? How can we find those people and give them that opportunity? Because ultimately those opportunities do come uh, through it once you have that
Hmm.
education.
Right,
And
right.
so do you still go back to Kenya regularly? Is it still?
I would say not regularly, but often enough. Most of my family is here, there, everywhere. I have family all over the world. So, slowly as we grew up, Kenya is not our main headquarters or our main base because people are everywhere. So I make my rounds. I make my rounds all around the world to see everyone. But Kenya is always home and always feels like, going back to the roots when I do go back there.
Right,
Yeah.
right. Okay. Right. Wonderful. Wonderful. So we'll start wrapping up just with, I guess with, uh, one or two more questions. Like, what's going to be next for your school? Where do you see it going as far as, as far as growing it? Is the type of thing where you're looking multi-city? What's going to be the next big iteration for you?
Well, you said it right there, Rami. That's exactly what the goal is. We want to have our school in all the major cities. We're looking at franchising the organization so that other people can also have the opportunity to run a successful business, and they'll have the blueprint and have everything that we've been able to do successfully just in the palm of their hands without having to start from scratch. And so the school will have its own other branches owned by the owned by us, but we also plan to franchise it and open those opportunities to other kingdom business people that want to run a school, that have a heart for it but don't know how to do it. So eventually, we want legacy to be, in every city.
Wow,
Yes.
that's amazing.
Yes.
I bless you that God should give you the opportunity to continue to grow. And do you have a certain city that you have an eye on at this point, or you're not up to that point yet?
We're not up to that point yet. Texas is very, very big. There's just even in the DFW area, we could fit another 2 or 3 schools. And so, yeah, I don't know if you've heard about Texas, but we are huge. So if we were even to go to other states, we'd have to make sure that we've maximized the potential here in Texas alone.
Okay.
Yes.
Amazing. So may God bless you and grant you at this, to grow and grow in a healthy way. I
Exactly.
think
Thank you.
sometimes people are like, oh, I one of my partners was like, oh, we had a new product. He's like, I want the hockey stick. We're going to go from here. I was like, if we have a hockey stick, that is going to crush our business.
Oh,
I want a slow, steady, consistent growth. If you
yes.
throw too much, we can't handle it. So everything
Right.
should be really, really in the right time. So,
Yes. You want to
but,
grow at the right rate so you're not busting at the seams, and you don't want to, um, you know, put a lot of pressure on your resources, on your team. You don't want to grow in a way that kills a business, because it's possible to do that. And so
yes,
it has to be the right time. The Bible says there's a time and season for everything. And so, yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Pauline, thank you so much. Really appreciate you taking the time today to
Thank you.
speak with me,
Sure.
and God bless.
Thank you so much, Rabbi Ramni. It's been a pleasure and an honor to be here.
All the best.